We good?
Yeah, we're good. We're starting right now, Jerry.
Okay.
Hey, welcome to Instant Reaction, the Blue Jay Banner post-game show live here on their YouTube channel. Thanks for joining us. Do us a favor, hit share, like, and also make sure you hit that subscribe button if you already haven't, so we can share the word about everything we do here on Blue Jay Banner. Want to thank our sponsors. You can see them scroll down the bottom of the screen. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally, West Pacific Dental Group, and Infusion Brewery. Ryan from Infusion is out here in Vegas. Actually flew on the plane with me over here. So he was promising me to get some Let It Flies to me. He had a case or two shipped out here, but I haven't seen them yet. So hopefully by Monday I'll have a little product. We're joined tonight by Jerry Lampy. Wow, Jerry, that was a crazy game.
That was wild. You were kind of spent most of the game frustrated, and then the last 3 minutes for them to come back like that, and BYU totally being out of control, frustrated with the press, and then us taking a 1-point lead, and then to lose it on a putback shot and just not getting a good shot. Our last possession was frustrating, I guess. So yeah, a lot to talk about here, a lot to absorb, I guess. So yeah. Some good, a lot bad, I guess. So,
yeah, I mean, I guess let's just start with the good. I guess Arthur Kaluma, career high, 27 points.
Yep, he had a good game. Shot the three well. Took the ball to the hole with authority. Just can't have those dumb fouls. He's too valuable for us, especially with Caulk out. I think what was a foul, the third foul was ticky-tack, but, you can't put yourself in a situation to reach in like that. I don't really think he caught any arm, but you're just giving an excuse for the ref to blow the whistle, and they had a pretty tight whistle tonight. I mean, usually Creighton's not in foul trouble much this year, but they called a pretty tight game there tonight, so you just couldn't take any chances.
Yeah, those are Big East refs. Pat Driscoll is one of them. Those are Big East refs. And, Mac, I think, they listened to Mac. Mac was right in front of me, and they listened to him tonight. Arthur went to the bench on the fourth foul. He goes, I never touched him. He goes, that foul was not on me. So I don't, player's going to say that, but I'd have to watch the replay to see. But he should have done a better job there. But yeah, all those people the last week are, putting him down and saying he can't shoot. Well, I hope they, can shut up now, because he can shoot. All right. He's a pretty darn good player when he's effective like that. But I mean, the story of the game is we got out rebounded by 21 rebounds.
Bad.
Right. I kept looking at BYU shooting numbers as the game rolled on, and I kept thinking, gosh, it seems like they're shooting the ball better than this, but they weren't. But they were getting so many second chance points.
Yeah.
And a lot of loose balls, too, long rebounds. And that's on the guards, not scooping those rebounds up. That was when Kaluma was still in the game, and Fred was still in the game.
Fred had some nice blocks tonight, but what stood out to me, the Bills, 18 minutes played by Fred, 0 rebounds. We got to get some boards from him.
Yeah. And he's got to be more aggressive. Yeah. He had some rebounds. He wasn't strong enough with them.
No.
He just let him get him knocked out of his hands. And I think that's why he got benched at the end of the game. Okay. I hate to say this, but I'm sorry, that Yates experiment went on too long. I mean, we had to double the post all the time. And look, let's be fair. When he was in the game, we made a run. We were down 8. And when he was in the game, we made a run, got back in the game. But he on the offense, he was nothing. And it's beyond me why he kept jacking threes up.
Yeah, that was not a good. He took 2 threes that were just not called for. I mean, he can't do that. And if the shot clock was going down to 2 seconds is one thing, but to jack him up in the shot clock, I know he's wide open, but we still don't want him taking threes like that.
Right. I mean, that first one, it looked like, I mean, I don't like his shot particularly, but that first one was in and out. It was right there. So he must make them a lot in practice because Mac didn't get upset at all that he was taking them. So, but we went one possession. He tried to get, I think it was, Fred in the game for him. And then the free throw was missed by somebody. And so he had to go that next route, and then we got burned, And that's the other thing, free throws. BYU shot like 80-some%, and we were at 60. We just can't give points away at the free throw line. And look what happened. It ended up being a one possession game. I mean, those free throws were valuable that we missed in the first half. I think the other thing we did is there was a point there in that first half. I noticed BYU was starting to get a little tired. And then we started missing some shots. We kind of slowed it down. They took it right at us. And then they kind of got energy again. I mean, I think if we kind of got that killer punch to get up to 6, 8, 10, again, just like we talked about the other day with Nebraska, it would have been a different game. Then we made a nice comeback out of the break, got it tied. We're kind of back and forth there, and then they stretched it out once Kaluma went out of the game. Yeah. We had Yates in there. We're kind of going 4-on-5 on offense because Yates wasn't going to shoot it anymore. He's not a low post presence. So one thing we did do though when we went small, which was interesting, which we got to kind of already start looking ahead. But one thing we did do is we kind of forced them to take their bigs out of the game. Their bigs were killing us.
Yeah, down low.
And they forced them to take their bigs out of the game, and they had to go small. Wow. I can't remember the last time I've seen a Division I team have so much trouble with a press.
Northern Iowa against Texas A&M in the NCAA tournament many years ago.
Yeah, right, Jared. Good call. Good call on that one.
That's what I thought of when I was watching that game. They act like they had never, for a Division I team, didn't act like they'd never seen a press before. That was, I mean, they were throwing the ball in the stands. They
never got it across half court. Unreal. They never touched the ball across half court. It was unbelievable. And then they started breaking free throws, and
we totally had them. And that's when you think, oh God, we're going to pull this game out. We're going to pull it, because usually when a team melts down like that, you don't see them come back.
Yeah.
But
I know it was a gamble, but when we took that 1-point lead, I would have pressed them again.
Yeah.
And just said, hey, make sure you don't foul, but I want to be aggressive. Right. And at the end of the game, I thought, when he got the ball and went up, I thought, wouldn't this be fitting, a guy who has struggled so much this year, to knock down this three?
Sharif, yeah,
but it wasn't
a wide open look. Yeah,
it wasn't close.
And you could tell he was taking it hard at the end of the game when there was like 0.6 seconds left to look at the clock. You could tell Sharif was taking. You could tell he had his head in his jersey. He's taking. I mean, he knows it. He can't hit a shot right now. That would have been huge. And I'm sure he's frustrated. So the more shots you miss, the more it gets in your head where you don't think you can make it. So,
yep. All right. First viewer tonight, via audio only, is Easton. Hey, Easton, welcome to the show.
Hey, what's up?
Well, a lot of disappointed fans here in Las Vegas, I'll tell you.
Yeah, it seemed like actually the crowd wasn't that bad. Were there even any BYU fans there? Because I didn't see them on the TV.
There were some. I went and visited a friend of mine, and he goes, yeah, there's like 10 BYU fans here, and 5 of them are right behind me.
Yeah, it seemed like
there were some students. It looked like some students in the end where BYU is going in the second half, toward that end, but not. And there were some. I was on press row. There was about half dozen to a dozen behind me up a ways. I heard them once in a while, but that was it was predominantly huge turnout by Jays fans.
Yeah, it looked like a Jays home game, but my takeaways from the game are I have to get on Coach Mack for this. Why, out of everybody in the roster, is Mitchell taking that last shot? I just don't get it. And why not take a timeout? Because there's no way that's the play you want at the end there.
Yeah,
There's
we
no
had one.
way.
You're right. We had one left. Mac immediately told R2 to push it. He was. I thought we got too stagnant there the last 2-3 possessions too, even though they worked out a lot of times with fouls and so forth. Way too much dribbling. I mean, we just dribbled. Schreierman kept dribbling into the post and into the lane until he had nowhere to go, and then he'd dish it out. Trey would do the same thing, and then R2 would do the same. I mean, there wasn't any ball movement, screaming. That's what I wish that would have happened.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's just we went from now number 7 to most likely unranked in 2 weeks. Just kind of like a North Carolina downfall here. This wasn't on my bingo card for the year, especially a 4-game losing streak. Like, holy cow! I get Cogburner's out, but there's no, like, I know he's arguably our most important player, but there's no way you have to beat BYU. Especially that team that lost to South Dakota, and who was
Utah Valley State.
Utah Valley State, though. I'm just saying they're not a bad program. They're not a bad program. I mean, that's not BYU should beat them, but they're not bad. I was talking with Courtney Williams before the game, and he said, "Yeah," he goes, "that would be like us losing to UNO." And I go, or maybe in Nebraska, and he goes, "Yeah." So, but they played terrible. I mean, I happen to know the beat writer for Utah pretty well, and I've had some conversations with him, and he's just like, "Yeah, everybody out there is just like, what in the hell is going on?" But I got to tell you, tonight they look great. And it wasn't, yes, they killed us inside, but I mean, they're guards. My God. Excellent shooters. Who's that number 3? God, he was lights out. So yeah. I don't understand how they lost those other games. I mean,
yeah, I think they were like 40th in KenPom for the year. I mean, they weren't supposed to be this bad, but still, though, it's just one of those. I think they're right now the 200th in KenPom, so it's just like, yeah, Cogburner's out. It's just like you just have to win. And now we're at the point where like we got Arizona State coming up, but they could be a top 25 team Monday. It's like where are their heads going to be at? Where are they going to go from here? Like it could turn bad really fast if they don't stick together. But I hope Cogburner is back by Monday. But if he's not,
I know. No, he's not going to play.
Do you know how long he's had mono for? It seems like he's been sick ever since Maui.
Well, he's been sick. I think he's had it for a while. But
yeah,
the problem with mono is you can't just say, "Oh, he'll be out a week." You just don't know. It could be a month. It could be a week. It could be a half a week. It could be 2 weeks. You just don't know. There's no way to know. It's just, is he going through the test? Is his spleen okay? Because that's what they worry about if you exert yourselves too much when you have mono. I got to say this, and this is just me talking and no medical advice or anything. I thought just in his face, he looked better tonight on the bench when I saw him. He almost looked like his eyes were red before, and you could just tell he was in pain. He didn't look like he was laboring tonight. He looked fine. So hopefully that's a good sign.
Yeah. That's unfortunate. He's been dealing with that. I heard a couple other players were sick too. Maybe that could explain a lot too. But
it wasn't so much. I mean, we were humming pretty good there in that first half, part of the first half.
Oh yeah, tonight shooting was way better tonight. My big concern is if Cogburner's out, our defense just falls apart. It's insane. Like,
I mean, I don't know.
Like giving up 81 to BYU is like
83. But
imagine that was Arizona tonight. Oh my God.
Yeah, they just took it inside on us. I guess we would probably want to have, Fred, but Fred's, hasn't seen a lot of action, and he's raw. And like Jerry said, he played 18 minutes and didn't get a rebound. I mean, he's not going to see the floor if that happens.
Yeah, he was a difference why we lost. I mean, that last mission, that box out, not getting that rebound. I really thought that was a game we were about to steal there, like an important game that we were gonna steal. But like now, it's just like I said, it's just like this is like probably the critical point of the season where now you lost 4 straight. You got Arizona State Monday. You got basically got to have a quick turnaround. Like, do they stick together and find a way to win without Kalkbrenner likely, or do they lose their heads and just kind of?
I don't think they're going to lose their heads. I think there's a couple things that need to happen. This whole narrative about Kaluma is put to rest now. That's good. Okay.
Yeah, he was best game of his career, other than that Kansas game.
I think the problem too in those last 4 minutes offensively was I bet you they've never practiced with that lineup. That's awfully hard to just go out there in a high level game, stress game, and run things efficiently. Number 2, we got to get Trey right. He seems somebody texted me tonight and said it seems very tentative. I kind of agree with that. Like he just like, God, that turnaround is deadly. Tonight he airballed one. I mean, man, that was surprising. We got to get him right. I mean, he had a lot of points, but he got them all from the free throw line. And then that other one too at the end, he makes that layup, that little up and under move. He makes that 90% of the time. He didn't come close tonight.
I mean, I seen this early on Twitter. Kaluma's had his 2 best games when Kalkbrenner was out. Kansas last year, and now this game. It's very kind of a coincidence, you know. You kind of wonder there, but I mean, it doesn't really. I don't think it means nothing, obviously. But it's kind of like it's interesting to look at.
Yeah, I don't think it's much of a coincidence as much as it is playing small ball. You're going to have a bigger guy guarding Kaluma, and Kaluma's going to be able to, drive past or pump fake or, beat his guy on a cut and get better shots than he would having someone closer to his size and athleticism on him.
Yeah. Plus, Call kind of clogs up the lane a lot of times, He's not in there, then Arthur's got free range, so yeah.
I thought the defensive pressure that it was brilliant though. We made them look bad. Like that could have been all time just worse than kind of San Diego State from last year kind of clubs where they we turned it up when we wanted it to. It just not enough guys on that end to box out, get rebounds, and just it just is kind of you come all the way back like that and you lose like off of something like missed rebound, defensive rebound. It's just kind of like dang, like kind of tough to come back from, especially
to swallow, man. It really is.
I feel like if they stole that one, and they would really like pumped and like kind of get on like a big momentum train here. But now it's like lose the BYU. I'm kind of worried here. I really want to see how they respond to Arizona State, because if they just come out flat, then I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, this could get bad unexpectedly. But I mean, if they come out with a pretty good fight, Arizona State, maybe they lose, or maybe they win, then I'm like, okay, you go 1-1 without Kalkbrenner and see if you get him back again at Marquette, and you go from there, start a Big East play. But yeah, it's really concerning right now, even with the coaching staff, like late game decisions. It's just, and the Xander Gates thing, like that was kind of crazy too. +9, I believe, on the box score.
Yeah, I mean, we made a run when he was in there, so that's why they kind of kept going to him. But I could just tell we were going 4 and 5 on offense, and on defense, we had to come with a double every time. And they were getting extra possessions because he was in there. He wasn't getting any rebounds either.
Yeah, so, I think we hit him out there on the floor a little too long. I think you mentioned something like that. But yeah, we put out everything there tonight and see if it worked. And we almost did. So, and then Kaluma fouling out was like, oh, that was another just game changer in the whole game. Because I felt like if he's in there, maybe the rest of the game we pull that out. It doesn't have to be like we have to, I need like a big collapse by BYU. Just, win that game by like maybe 3 to 5 points. But yeah, just a really just weird, crazy game tonight.
Yep. All right, Easton. Hey, appreciate the call. Thank you.
Yep, no problem.
Something else just jumped out at me looking at the box score. Mason Miller, no rebounds, no assists, no points, 6 minutes. I know the one shift he had when he came out, Mac called Ryan Miller over, talked to him. Then Ryan went and got Mason, sat him down by him, and lit him up. And his next shift wasn't all that much better. So, well, I think, Jerry, two things tonight, though. People were whining, complaining about Kaluma, and, that showed up. Boy, they wanted to see a small lineup. Well, you saw that. And they've been clamoring for Ben. Well, Ben got some run tonight.
Yeah. A lot of guys off the bench got some run, except Miller.
Yeah.
Miller didn't.
Yeah, right.
Miller didn't play well.
Ben had 7 minutes, got a rebound, missed his 2 shots.
Mm-hmm.
But he was instrumental in that press. So he had really good feel for it and really good pressure on it. He just had to get his feet wet. So, maybe my wife texted me. I saw a text her, and she's back home, and she said, just went off basically. Like, if you're a member of Blue Jay Banner, and I don't know why you wouldn't be, but if you're not a member, to join today. Our message board, everybody was going off after the rest of the game, and Zach, you'll appreciate this. Blue Blood, who's on our board, has been really hard on Mac here. And my wife said, I agree with Blue Blood. She goes, it wasn't just everybody's blaming on Kalkbrenner being gone, but that shouldn't have been the case tonight. And, she's kind of right, really. But by the way, if you are a member of Blue Jay Banner, you knew yesterday morning that Ryan Kalkbrenner had mono and wasn't going to play. So I know some people, Jeff Goodwin, trying to act like they were breaking news tonight, but it wasn't breaking news because we had that way in advance. So there's the kind of inside info you get if you remember Blue Jay Banner. So join today. Anyway, back to my point. I just keep thinking. End of January rolls around, beginning of February, we're going to forget this. We're going to forget this. This team goes on a huge run, wins like 10 in a row in the Big East. And you can say we're failing in the non-conference and we're screwing up our seeds. All that's so true. But if we hit the Big East running and, maybe lose 1 or 2 early and then go on a huge run, everybody's going to forget about it. What do you think about that, Jerry?
Well, look at what Nova did last year. Nova struggled a little bit in the non-conference. They come into Creighton and lose by 20. And, I think it was like their 3rd loss in a row, maybe 4th loss in a row. And they turned it around and ended up being in the Final Four. So you are right. We're struggling right now. I really don't want to go into Marquette on a 5-game losing streak, and maybe this game against Arizona State is a little bit bigger than it normally would be.
I personally think we have 0 chance Monday.
Yeah,
because Arizona State has 2 very big athletic guys,
and they're on a 7-game winning streak,
and that's going to really now. Here's the deal with Arizona State, but I guess you can say that about BYU too. But Arizona State hasn't played it. They played Michigan. That's about it. They really haven't played anybody. Yeah,
they've had a pretty light schedule, but they're going to be confident. They're 7-game winning streak, and we're on a 4-game losing streak. But you're right. Once we get into Big East play, winning the Big East Conference, is a goal of ours. Looks a little tougher now the way UConn's playing, but
they might shoot their wad early and not
get some
injuries and just not pan out later on. You don't know that. It's just
right. Long
it's
season.
A game. It's a long season.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I'm really happy, even though people are down on Mac again. I'm really happy he's our coach because he's pretty even keel,
Yeah, he doesn't get too up, too down. But right, I mean, it's never. I didn't think we'd be going through a 4-game losing streak, but it happens in basketball. Every college team, nobody's going to go undefeated. Everybody's gonna lose a few games, especially on the road.
Like, what if we go now and we only lose 3 more games, so we end up like 20 or 30-7?
Yeah,
I mean, we'll be like a number 2 or 3 seed, and get to play Des Moines. I mean, it's like it really is, nothing changes. Like, I know people had this incredible high hope that we were going to be number 1 and go to the Final Four. I never thought that was probably a reality. I thought we'd be one of the top 10 or 15 teams in the country after Maui. I definitely did, but we probably still can be. And look at it this way. Look at the miles that Kalk is going to be putting on his body here, having to sit out.
And Frederick did get some minutes. I mean, I thought that was he's going to get some. He's going to learn. I'm sure he's going to learn a lot about. We're going to sit down. You've got to get some rebounds. You've got to be tougher in there. We didn't have too many fouls again. And sometimes maybe you commit a foul or two going for a board aggressively. I'd rather see that than not having them. And I know Mac doesn't like to foul, but sometimes you might want to go aggressive at a board. And if you have to knock somebody down, you knock them down, but you've got to show that aggressiveness to get some of those boards. Like you said, you just can't give up that many offensive rebounds. So
yeah, we just got killed on the boards, and it wasn't all, excuse me, wasn't all the big guys.
No, guards have got to help
out.
Our
guards gave up a lot of rebounds tonight.
They've got to help out, especially with Kalkbrenner not there. It's got to be a group effort, And
that's been a big complaint with Kaluma. Kaluma has been terrible on the boards, and he had a couple early on tonight where he was bad on the boards, and then Mac really gave him a high five. He had a really tough, aggressive defensive rebound once, and that was really impressive to see and good to see. So
right. And that's other teams are going to see that in film. They're going to see they got out rebounded by BYU. They gave up 20 boards. So what do you think other teams are going to do? They're going to crash the boards on Creighton until we can prove we can, get those rebounds. So.
Okay. So that brings me to unsung hero. Like, I have 2 nominees, Ben or Xander. Who would you go with?
I'll give you my input. Neither of those guys. I'd go with Farabello.
Yeah, he hit that 1 3, and then that was about it.
And he again. Threes? I thought he hit 3 threes.
Did he? Let me pull up the stats. I could be wrong. Farabello had 2 rebounds, 3 assists, and where's the points on here, for crying out loud? No, he had 6 points.
Oh, just the 2? Okay.
2 of 2.
2 of 2. He only took 2 shots.
Yeah. But he gave up some rebounds tonight. He had 2 only. I'm trying to look for somebody again, Baylor, just amazing. Baylor's off tonight, though. He missed a lot of shots. He's 3 of 11.
Yeah, Farabello just had 2 rebounds. And look at Trey. I mean, Trey's a long length, just 3 rebounds. We got to get more from him, especially when Kalk's out. He
doesn't. Yeah, he looks like Kalkbrenner. He doesn't look right, man. There's something up with that. Yeah, we just got killed. Just killed. Too bad. Well, we're waiting on Coach here. So who are we going with? So we got 3 nominees now. Jerry, who would you go with of those 3?
Probably, I guess, Ben, because Ben was in there when we made our run in the press, and not that he made any points, but I mean, he was part of the aggressiveness, and he got in some lanes there and caused BYU to make some turnovers. So of those 3 guys, I mean, it's hard to give it to Fran just because wasn't really part of that last run where we, made that run and got it back. So let's give it to Ben. I would give it to Ben just because he was in there in that last 3.5 minutes. And I mean, the kid hadn't played in 5 games, so it's hard. I mean, it's hard for a guy to come in like that, not in an intense situation like there. So
yeah, and Farabello played 22 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a valid nominee, no doubt about it. Sorry, Zach, we're outruling you.
Again, though, like you said, Tim, our guards got to help out. I mean, I didn't look, but yeah, 22 minutes, 2 rebounds. Trey played a lot of minutes, 3 rebounds. We got to get more from those guys. I mean, they're going to have to help out, especially with Caulk out. They're going to have to get some of those long boards.
Yeah.
So.
And you saw a couple times tonight, BYU came in. It looked like we're going to get a rebound, and they came from the guard position in and got the rebound.
Yep. And Mason's tall kid too. 6 minutes, you expect
He's got
you got to get a couple rebounds. You're that height. Yeah.
I thought he'd have a big impact tonight. He did not. Let's go. Let's go. Worst call of the night.
I thought Kaluma's third foul was. I thought the ref anticipated
he
it.
got a couple tickies there. He did. Trying to think. I know BYU's upset with the refs in the first half. Man, they nearly got a technical a couple times. I think everything else. So, all right, that's a good call. So now it is time for Coach's Corner. And joining us, and there he is, Casey Matthews. Hey, Coach.
How's it going?
Well, we've had better days, as you know. I mean, you look at a lot of different things. There were some positives, some negatives, but I mean, basically, when you boil it down, we got out rebounded by what, 21, 22 rebounds tonight.
Yeah, I don't even know the exact number, but it was more than I would have liked to, for sure. I got the stats here. Yeah, 21. Yeah, wasn't good enough, right? So got to be better.
But to that point, it's easy to say, well, Kalkbrenner wasn't in the game, but the guards gave up, and especially that last key bucket. I mean, that was obviously Ben was out of position after doing a nice job, defending him, but there was nobody that came in and swooped in and grabbed that rebound. And, that was a guard. It wasn't, it wasn't Fred in there, although Fred got, well, we'll get to him in a second, but anyway, to that point, the guards got to do it.
It's hard. I mean, I'm not an excuse guy. So like the Kalkbrenner out. Yeah. I mean, Kalkbrenner is out. So, but the game's still got to be played. The rebounds still have to be grabbed in those situations. Like, yeah, Ben's a true freshman playing in, really some of his first minutes of his career, does a decent job to get back in front and give a good wall. And then, it's that second effort, to get your feet back underneath you, understand what's going on, put a body on somebody and get that rebound. And you can look at it at that play and go, yeah, that cost us the game, but that's one of them. There was 15 more that they got in the course of the game that were just as important. And I think,
right.
You can't dwell on the one play, and we got to be better. I mean, I'm not you know me well enough to know I'm just going to tell you what I think. I'm not a sugarcoat guy. Like, we weren't good enough. And do I think we're the better team? Yeah, I think we're the better team, even without Kalkbrenner. But when you're missing your big fella back there, the details, man, putting bodies on bodies and making contact and then releasing and going get the rebound. Those little details matter because you don't have that big guy to kind of be your tank down there. And so, hopefully we learn from it and get better. Because
you mentioned, not wasn't good enough tonight, but I mean, gosh, you see that team tonight, and you're wondering how in the world did they lose to some of these teams they've lost to. They look pretty good tonight. I mean, and I think that's in knowing, like I was saying earlier, I know some guys out in that part of the country, and everybody has like been mystified, like what in the world is going on? And tonight they've just kind of put it all together.
Yeah, they played a good game. They're missing Spencer Johnson, who's kind of their heart and soul, and
right.
And so that obviously hurts them a lot. I thought, Rudy was really good tonight for them. I mean, we really had a hard time staying in front of him and keeping him out of the paint. Some of the stuff was self-inflicted for us, but they certainly played hard. They played like a team who was, felt like they could win. And so, hats off to them. And, we just weren't good enough.
So I was going to broach this subject, Fred. So obviously his first start, he gets thrown into position. He was a presence out there. They certainly knew he was out there and had to, adjust their shots for him. But I think Jerry pointed out 18 minutes and no rebounds. And that's probably why he was on the bench in the second half, right?
Yeah, that, and then also just we felt like going, a little bit smaller would help us. Some of the stuff though tonight, Tim, was a lack of energy, and not necessarily from Fred, but just we put Xander in the game there late, and it kind of gave us a jolt. And so I think, Mac's just trying to figure this out. Like Fred's a great player and he's going to be fine. I think sometimes we want these guys to get good so fast. And I think something that I've been saying a lot is last year, our freshmen had to play through mistakes because we really didn't have anybody else to put in. Now, you got a guy like Fred, and I know, like Ben Schultzberg, you make a mistake, you got a dude that was on a pretty good team last year, ready to come in and get back out there. And so he doesn't get the time to play through a lot of the mistakes that these freshmen got to play through last year. So I know some people might think the development doesn't look like it's coming as rapidly, and that might be the case, but I think some of it has to do with just he's not getting the time to play through some of those mistakes. And I don't mean that in like Max should be playing him more. I just mean you have Ryan Kalkbrenner, your leash is going to be just a little bit shorter.
Sure.
So, but I have all the faith in the world in Fred. I mean, he's an unbelievable human being, first of all, and he works hard. He doesn't make excuses for himself, and he plays really hard. Like he's going to be fine. I think his head spinning a little bit to go from, I might play a few minutes here and there to I'm starting, and so he's got to figure it out, and we got to help him.
I was just saying earlier, I'm sure people will be, driving their car off the I-80 bridge and everything now. But I was like, we get everybody back healthy and get some of our bench more experience and more contributing. You get to the end of January, the end of February, we may just, and we don't know, but we may just totally forget about this week,
Sure.
a couple of weeks. You know what I mean? There's so much talent out here. And I think let's look at the positive. Everybody was down on Art. Art showed tonight why he's on the floor and why he's a valuable part of this team.
Yeah. You say everybody's down on Art. I know what you're saying. I'm not a big social media guy. I'm sure that's kind of what you're alluding to.
Yeah, right.
I can tell you this much. There's nobody in our locker room that's down on Arthur Kaluma. That kid's a good player. But yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm sure for some of our fans, it's a good thing that, in Vegas, you don't get to have a balcony in your hotel. But all jokes aside, yeah, I mean, I know there's going to be people that are, man, we're not good. What's up with Coach Mack? I'll tell you this much. I've worked for a lot of different people and with a lot of different people. There's not a head coach I'd rather work for that I believe in more that will get this figured out. And the kids on our team care, they want to win. And I know, I believe that towards the end of our season, you're right. We'll look back and go, man, we were not very good, but we knew we could get to be very good. And we weren't that good this time last year either. So it's,
Right.
We figured it out. And so, yeah, we'll get the big fella back healthy here. But in the meantime, we got to keep playing. We got to find a way to win, to beat Arizona State on Monday. And then, because as you know, Tim, nobody feels bad for us. Like there's nobody.
You're gonna get everybody's best shot.
Yeah. There's nobody. Well, let's take it easy on them because they don't have Ryan.
Yeah.
Like no, they see blood in the water and they're gonna come for it. So same thing we would do.
Yeah, and I was defending people, defending the team all week long after the Nebraska loss, and I said, "I'm sorry, guys." They're like, "Well, what about this? What about that?" And I said, "Sorry, guys. I personally have gone down this road with Mac many times, and I've been proven wrong every single time. So I'm not falling for it this time. I know He's going to get this thing together and everything's going to be just fine.
Yeah, no, I mean it will be, but some of that stuff, Tim, is all like you can't, I can't, Matt can't help anybody's expectations, right? Like we didn't say we were seventh best team in the country. We didn't. That's all media. That's all, guys like you that get paid the big bucks to figure that stuff out. Like we're just trying to coach the team, trying to help them get as good as we can. And I know fans want us to win every game and win every game by 30, and that's great. Hey, I'm the teams that I cheer for. I want the same thing. But I've done this long enough, and I just know like what you need in these situations is a leader and somebody who doesn't panic and somebody who just trusts in the things that you have to trust in, which is your work ethic. I mean, talent and
Right.
just a desire to get better. And so I just can tell you, like, we're not panicked, like, are we frustrated? Absolutely. If we weren't, then I think the fans should be worried, but we're sure we're going to work hard and get this thing figured out. Might not come as fast as some people want it to come, but that's really not up for us to worry about. We gotta coach this team. It's not last year's team. It's this year's team. We gotta coach this team.
Well, my son lives in Phoenix, so he gives me reports on Arizona State. I know they got a couple big athletic bigs, and they've gotten off to great starts. They haven't played a particularly tough schedule. What have you seen from them?
Yeah, they're super athletic. They're very good at getting downhill and driving the ball, and which isn't a great recipe for us, but they're really well coached. They play very hard. I think offensively they don't do a ton a ton of things that you've never seen before. I think they're gonna set ball screens and try to get their guards downhill to draw help and try to put us in tough spots, in terms of just making decisions. It's another team though, like if we're not locked in and ready to go, they're gonna come out and try to hit us in the mouth. And so, I loved the fight that we displayed tonight late to get, to come all the way back. And I think when we took the lead, like that's not easy to do. And especially against a team, like we played in BYU, who's really well coached, who's, normally really cool under pressure. And so I think we've shown, we showed tonight, like we're going to fight, we're not going to give up. So I think in that Arizona State game, it's just going to be a matter of like, are we going to be the team that plays the hardest from the tip, or are we going to wait, get hit in the mouth again, and then be like, all right, we need to play hard now. And I really believe our guys will be fired up and ready to go. So it's going to be, hopefully it's a really good game. And, hopefully we show improvement from tonight, to Monday.
Well, I know you guys will be burning the midnight oil coming up with a game plan, so we'll let you go. Thanks, Casey, so much for joining us.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always good to see you. I appreciate your support, and go Jays.
All right. Thanks, man.
Take care.
Casey Matthews joining us here on Instant Reaction. Jerry, what'd you think? You're on mute, Jerry. There you go.
There you go. All right. Yeah, pretty self-explanatory. I did see where Trade tweeted something out on social media about the storm doesn't last forever. So, I just hope the Creighton fans don't start tweeting at players. And I mean, that's really classless in my, these kids are trying. I mean, they're not perfect. They're not professional athletes. So, yeah.
Monday will be a good litmus test. You know what I mean? Like Casey was saying, I think he alluded to it a little bit. Maybe he didn't think they gave 40 minutes of effort tonight.
Right. The effort wasn't there in the first half as far as, like, say, rebounding. They're kind of, waiting for things to happen. You got to come out from the tip, be ready to go. So
we were kind of okay with trading baskets. Was what that game started going. And of course, here in Vegas, if you had the over, you were smiling.
Oh yeah.
As I was. But that's it. Hey, I just want to mention our sponsor again, Equitable Bank. We take banking personally, proudly serving Nebraska since 1882. Two great locations, one in Elkhorn and one in just north of TD Ameritrade headquarters. Check them out. They're the bank of Blue Jay Banner. Equitable Bank. they want to be your personal banker. And then West Pacific Dental Group, Dr. Robert Hogan, who was at the fight tonight. Dave, how did Crawford win?
I don't know.
Anybody know? Zachary, you're on top of this stuff.
I have no idea. My grandpa would know because he was trying to get everyone to leave early from the Christmas party tonight so he could buy the fight and turn that on. But I am not sure of the outcome of that.
Let me Google it, see what happened.
I did see where there was a big fight.
Terrence Crawford stops David Investian to keep the welterweight bout. 6-round knockout.
Oh, knocked him out.
Wow, that dude is unbelievable. And he hasn't fought for a year and comes out and knocks a guy out in the 6th round. Well, that's good. Gave the Omaha fans a good show. It's awesome. Anyway, Dr. Hogan was at the fight tonight, so he'll be back at it Monday, serving his fine clients at West Pacific Dental Group. So give him a call, 402-697-0765. And then Infusion Brewer, as I mentioned, Ryan from Infusion is here. And we were discussing about all the great Infusions beers and discussing some further things with Blue Jay Banner and Instant Reaction. So we're hoping that all comes to fruition. So anyway, check out all the great Infusion products and go to Crescent Moon, affiliated with Infusion Brewing, in a great place. I was there last night for the first time. Enjoyed it immensely. Watched a soccer game there and had a great time. Great food. Check it out. All right. So Monday, Arizona State. I don't have a lot of. I was stunned at the point spread today. I'd be stunned if we're favorites in this game. There's no way. I just can't see it.
What do you think? What do you think the spread will be? 5 for Arizona State? What do you?
3 to 5, yeah, 3 to 5. I know. And now everybody knows Kalkbrenner's not playing, so cat's out of the bag. And they went, oh my God, they lost to BYU without him. So let's see what happens. I would think the under overall be pretty high, and I would guess this. I think Arizona State's we've kind of muddied up the games with them a bunch, So, maybe it's our turn to start winning one muddied up and winning the hard way. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We might have to do that without Kalk. So, well, I've hardly had anything to eat today. I've been up since 3 a.m. I'm going to go grab something to eat and crash because I got a big day of NFL football ahead of me tomorrow. I got to get to those sports books early, get a seat, and be locked in.
Who the Vikings got tomorrow?
They have a red-hot Detroit Lions.
That's right. Are the Lions favored? I thought somebody said they were.
So here's the deal. They went back as far as they could. They couldn't find anything different. This is the first time a 10-win team that's not resting everybody, okay? A 10-win team is playing a team that's under 500 and is an underdog. I know, but it's almost a bet you look at and you go, this is too good to be true. It's a sucker bet. They want you to take Minnesota here. But it started out, the Vikings were favored. Now the Lions are favored. So everybody's betting on the Lions. The Lions are red hot, and no doubt about it. And they probably should have beat the Vikings the first time, but we'll see.
Well, they should have beat Buffalo, and Thanksgiving could have a chance to beat Buffalo. Remember Thanksgiving Day game?
I could be totally wrong. I'll give everybody a tip. I love 7.5 points in the New York Giants tomorrow at home against the Eagles. That's a lot of points to be laying when you're at home, man.
Yeah, it is.
And the Eagles have not been. They were good last week, but then a couple weeks before they struggled.
Yeah, I mean, 7.5. What are the Chiefs? What's the line on the Chiefs game?
I thought it was like 9. That's the one. I'll tell you right now. That's one game I'm not touching. I'm not.
Yeah.
That's just
Chiefs play down to the competition. That's got Denver's got a good defense.
I love the Sunday night game. I love the Chargers getting 3.5 at home too.
Wow, who they playing?
Dolphins.
Oh yeah.
The Dolphins are everybody's.
Oh, they love them. Yeah.
Yeah, all over the country they love the Dolphins, and I'm like, their defense isn't very good.
No.
Sorry.
So I don't want to see. Yeah, I know Tua's got some good stats going now, but
Yeah.
and Sandy,
Yeah.
I mean, I keep calling them Sandy Chargers. They're probably the best 5-5, 6-5 team out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
I mean, they have so much talent. They just, not as bad as the Raiders, but it seems like they find ways to lose football games. So
I'm kind of curious to see how I can't believe the 49ers are only 3.5-point favorites too. I mean, Tampa Bay's looked awful all year.
they pulled it. Of course, they
And
have Brock
their
Purdy.
defense, San
Right.
Francisco's defense is so good that I don't care if they're playing a backup quarterback, you know?
Yeah.
All right, enough football talk.
Thanks, guys. Have a
Let you
good.
get to late in Omaha. Thanks, Zach. Thanks, Jerry, for filling.